Amazing. I don't have the patience. I know.
No,
Wow.
me
So how long you been doing this? This is like
For
amazing.
about 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
What inspired you move?
I got involved in a really traumatic accident. I almost went blind. I used to do a lot of cliff jumping about 7 years ago, and we got really good, and I was jumping off 50-footers, 60-footers, 90-footers, and I was doing flips and all kinds of stuff like that, and it got really fun, and I kept on trying to push myself to do the next big thing, and then all it took was one time, and I landed on my face against the water, and I jumped off like a 60-footer, and I was doing a few flips, and then I just smacked my face on the water. My eyes were open, and I started bleeding out of my eyes, and I couldn't see, and I was like, uh-oh, like, you know, it was actually really dramatic. There was a nurse there, and she adopted like 5 kids, and she was from Maryland, I think, and when she saw my accident, she literally left and took all her kids and didn't help me out at all.
My God.
Yeah, she didn't want to be responsible. And then, because I was like, I looked at her, I was like, I'm gonna jump again, like, because I just had like this energy. I was like, I wanted to nail this jump, and I literally jumped again with my eyes bleeding. And then after that, I got out of the swimming hole. I was walking back to my car. I was solo too. I was by myself. Wasn't even my dog. And then it was my first time pulling a yucca. You know what a yucca is?
No.
It's a big old succulent that lives in like slightly dry terrain. So, but it like sticks out, and like if you pull a dead yucca, you can actually you can use it, and it's really light, and you can make all kinds of crazy designs on it. And like the actual carvings on the yucca itself is actually made by beetles, which is really crazy. These really old beetles that just like make all these crazy marks on it, but. No, they just crawl on top of it and like make all these like markings, yeah. And then if you pull it, it's really light, and it's this really long succulent that looks like a branch, but it's not a branch, and it's super light, and it's super hollow on the inside.
Is it like a
Like sticks out like a trumpet out of the succulent, out of a big old agave. Yeah, and so as I was bleeding in my eyes, I pulled out my first yucca because I was like, somebody mentioned like how you could do that, right? And you can do all these crazy designs on one if you pull a dead one. And so that's what I did, brought it back home. And then,
how did you get home if you couldn't see?
oh no, I mean, I could see, but it was painful.
Wow.
It was painful, my vision was blurry, I had floaters, which I'd never had before. Went to an optometrist, they told me I was okay. I went back out and started cliff jumping again, and then I started realizing that I was getting headaches and migraines every single time I was in the sunlight.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, well, this isn't smart. So I ended up going back to the optometrist, and they're like, oh, we forgot to check you for hemorrhages. I was like, okay, maybe you should have done that in the first place, you know? And so then I got my hemorrhages checked. They found out I had bleeding behind my eyes. I went to a retinal specialist, and he pretty much told me I was really lucky not to cliff jump again.
Wow.
And then I was like, every time I went out and I wanted to cliff jump, I was like, well, I wanted to feel what I was feeling when I would jump off a cliff, which is like you just let go of everything you're thinking of. Like you
How about
don't
parachuting, right? You have something to back you up.
Right. Yeah, but that feeling of getting
Not
into
the
of
same.
jumping off a cliff and into the water is just so different. I mean, I've never done that, but that would be nice maybe sometime. But it really just was the flow state feeling that I wanted, and then I finally achieved that out of doing my work.
Wow. So who showed you? You just.
Oh, I
Pick
just
the
started
pace.
on my own.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I used to see people doing it all the time, and I wanted to do things the right way. I wanted to
That's
show.
incredible.
I wanted to show everyone that you could, create
mean-
ethically. That you could also you could do different things outdoors instead of having to jump off cliffs because
Yeah.
of my accident.
Wow.
And even after that, when I would go out to swimming holes and stuff, I'd see all these people cliff jumping and getting into accidents, and I was like, oh, well, this could be definitely something that could
Educate
motivate and educate others when they're kind of in that situation when they're being peer pressured by their friends, or they feel like they have to do it even if they're not with friends, you know, because I used to do all the time, and it's something I love to do, and there's different ways and techniques to be able to feel that and embrace that feeling, and all it really was just embracing failure, just understanding that, and just really feeling like who you are out of that.
Accepting
And
yourself.
Yeah.
Were you feeling unworthy in some manner? And
not
you
at
had to
all.
prove
I just felt that connected to nature.
Wow.
I think that's what it really came down to, and like that feeling that you get is kind of irreplaceable because you're able to shut down the outside world and finally be in yourself when you get in that moment of how
That's
fluid
like
you are
what
with your
happens
energy.
through meditation.
Yeah, and so I continued to commit with different challenges, and so this was when I came out here today. This was already up. I did a whole bunch of leaf work around it. before what like it was completely different.
Uh-huh.
And then today I was like, I want to do the next big thing. I want to stack on top of my little bridge.
Oh, wow.
You have two hands, and these rocks, they don't have any support
Yeah.
besides each other.
Yeah,
And it just boggles the mind that you were able to stack them
yeah.
the way you did with two hands, unless you used something else.
No, it was all my
Yeah.
hands.
Really, that's amazing. I know, I can't count them.
It does
Look
not
at the,
compute.
yeah, on computer, I know, that's amazing, how it balanced and everything. So it took you 30 minutes to
I
do this?
do, yeah.
You have a
And
website?
I do, yeah.
Wow.
It hasn't really gone anywhere. I really want to like when I
Well, it will now.
well I feel like the thing that would make the biggest difference is to have a school.
Yeah,
Because I know that like in order to change the world you got to do it one person at a time, and who it
And
really
it's
starts
too
with is the
slow.
kids,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
You can do a classroom at a time.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be great, because you could teach the kid with autism, a lot of people have
Yeah,
autism.
the kids
too.
understand the magic.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard when you're an adult because you're so desensitized to things. So
Yeah.
the parents will come out here with their kids, and then they'll tell the kids, you know, don't touch the rocks, don't do this, because there's salamanders that live here, and
They've
it's
got
like,
radios blaring.
well, there's just so many things that parents are so concerned about. Yeah, and that's true too. That's a good point. But there's just so much distraction, and of course the parents aren't really ever going to get it, but the kids do, and that's why I feel like the kids are the
People
Yeah.
have epiphany.
the
Yeah.
kids. You're right. But the kids get it more than the parents.
Yeah, right
You
off
know,
the bat.
and right off the bat, exactly.
okay.
And I feel like if parents had more guidance, then the kids will have a better opportunity.
Uh-huh.
And so with me being here doing this work and the parents seeing me, you know, I'm not just like some regular guy, you know, your average Joe that's coming out here doing rock stacks and pulling whatever I see. Like I've literally gone far and wide
Wow.
This is
to,
not an
to,
average
to gather everything.
Wow, so you're gonna do more over here? So you bring in the rock, you gather the
Yeah.
rock, and then,
No, I hope to bring like I collect leaves from everywhere. Like all those
Me
leaves you
too.
see, I collected.
Uh-huh.
And I just left them out here, and the kids made that, so that was beautiful, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna bring a bunch of leaves pretty soon. And last year I did it around this tree, and it probably came out to here.
yeah.
So the mural was like from where I'm standing, and there was
Wow.
all like a circle.
Oh,
What was it comprised of? I mean, what was the theme?
No, there was no theme.
Oh.
It was
But
just.
what did it look like? Was it circular? Was it angular?
It was circular, but also angular. It was like every type of angle.
wow,
Yeah,
that's
it's
amazing.
kind of hard to describe it. I wouldn't consider it a mandala,
Uh-huh.
but I would consider it similar to one.
Wow.
You know, I think that's what it really comes down to. Just being able to like recognize you don't need to have an agenda, and with that, when you go about it in that approach, like you're able to understand the true value of time.
Yeah,
You know,
Wow.
and I think that's what's healing about it, and that's
Yeah.
what allows me to heal my mind, body, and soul, and then I'm able to continue going on with all of daily life. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is all about: is being able to feel and learn what you've done here,
Mm-hmm.
and take that into your daily life, so that you're able to feel it with everything else you do, not just here.
Yeah.
It's a practice to be able to implement better values, better way of living, better ways of just of being when
Yeah.
you're out there with others or by yourself doing whatever else, you know.
You even have your presentation
yeah,
all prepared.
I know, it's
you
great.
speak very well
Yeah.
about what you do.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's great.
Done.
I
It's
just
great because when you're trying to get out there,
Thank you.
you want to connect